This is Uncle Don. He has a very simple business philosophy. If he sees something he likes, he decides it's already his. Right now, he's eyeing a massive, frozen chunk of real estate called Greenland. Kong is watching this and wondering if his own backyard is next. There's just one tiny legal detail. Greenland is an autonomous territory of the Kingdom of Denmark. They aren't exactly looking for a new landlord. Uncle Don says the US jungle needs Greenland for national security. Kong thinks that sounds like a line someone uses right before they take your lunch money. He's even hinted that he'll reclaim it whether they like it or not, which is strange considering the US jungle has never actually owned it. Naturally, the NATO allies are in a panic. No one knows if the alliance can survive a fight over who gets to own the world's biggest ice cube. But something doesn't add up. Greenland was left alone for centuries. Why did it suddenly become the most valuable real estate on Earth? And how will this affect the 60,000 monkeys living there who are now caught in the crossfire of a billionaire's shopping spree? This is the Greenland Crisis Explained, and Kong is about to learn that in high-stakes finance, national security is usually code for profit. Greenland is a massive island near the North Pole. It's mostly covered in ice, much like Kong's freezer after a bachelor weekend. It's much larger than most people think. You could drop the entire European Union's jungles into Greenland and still have room for a golf course. But the ice is melting. Global warming is doing what years of diplomacy couldn't. It's opening the vault. Uncle Don's team famously ignores climate change, but they certainly aren't ignoring the business opportunities it's creating. As the ice disappears, new shipping lanes are opening up, routes that could cut travel time between Asia and Europe by 40%. In Kong's world, that's like finding a shortcut to the grocery store that skips every single red light. The Northwest Passage is the holy grail. Whoever controls Greenland controls a trillion banana trade route. But shipping lanes are just the beginning. Underneath that ice sits something even more valuable: rare earth reserves. These minerals are the foundation for everything from Kong's smartphone to electric car batteries and fighter jets. Greenland has the 8th largest reserves in the world. And right now, the US jungle is feeling very behind the curve. Right now, Panda controls 90% of the world's supply of these materials. If you want a smartphone, you have to talk to the panda. Kong realizes that in a tech-driven world, whoever owns the minerals owns the future, and Don hates not owning the future. Panda has already started setting up shop in Greenland through their Polar Silk Road. They're not waiting for permission. For Don, this is personal. If he managed to annex Greenland, he can break Panda's monopoly overnight, or so he thinks. But there are a few low-grade problems. The minerals in Greenland aren't as pure as the ones Panda has. Plus, the climate is brutal. You need massive infrastructure to process this stuff. And right now, Greenland has snow. Lots of snow. Kong imagines trying to build a factory in a place where your coffee freezes before it hits your lips. Even if Uncle Don mines the materials, he'd still have to ship them to Panda for processing. They're the only ones with the factories. So the plan to break free from Panda still depends on Panda. Kong thinks this is the worst business plan he's ever heard. But what about the national security argument? Don says it's strategic, and to be fair, he's not entirely wrong. Greenland is the ultimate watchtower. It sits right between North America and Russia, watching the Atlantic like a hawk. The US jungle already has a spot there, Pituif Space Base. It's been tracking missiles and satellites since Kong's grandpa was in diapers. So why the rush for full ownership? Because having a base is like renting a room. Uncle Don wants the whole building. Ownership means no more negotiations with the Danish monkey, no more asking for permission to dig for purple rocks. Denmark has already said not for sale. Kong thinks this is the diplomatic equivalent of slamming a door in a giant gorilla's face. This isn't the first time the US jungle tried this. They've been trying to buy Greenland since 1867. They're like that one guy who won't take a hint after a bad date. But this time, Don isn't asking nicely. He's talking about the hard way. Kong wonders if that involves more tanks and fewer checks. NATO is having a full-blown existential crisis. If the leader of the pack threatens his own allies, is the pack even a pack anymore? European leaders are watching in horror. They're realizing that alliance might just be a subscription service that Uncle Don can cancel at any time. To make it more tempting, Don is offering a bribe: 100,000 bananas for every Greenlander who votes to leave Denmark. He's also offering a $120 million loan for a mine on land he doesn't even own yet. Kong thinks this is peak speculative madness. To justify the takeover, Don is claiming Russian and Chinese ghost ships are swarming the Arctic, but the Danish Navy says there's nothing there. Kong wonders if Don is seeing ghosts because he's been staring at the sun for too long. The local monkeys in Greenland are terrified. They feel less like citizens and more like an item in a billionaire's shopping cart. Only 6% of them support the takeover. In Kong's experience, when 94% of the troop is against you, it's time to find a new tree. Kong realizes this isn't just about ice, it's about the rare earth metals that power his smartphone and his lifestyle. If Don doesn't control those minerals, the panda does, and whoever controls the materials controls the price Kong pays. It's a hostile takeover of a global resource, and just like any corporate raid, the little monkeys are the ones who get squashed. Kong is starting to see the invisible lines. The world isn't divided by maps, it's divided by who owns the dirt you're standing on. He wonders if his own room is really his, or if some billionaire gorilla just hasn't noticed it yet. Kong thinks he's safe because he's thousands of miles away from the ice, but he's wrong. The Arctic is coming for his wallet. You see, to the big banks, Kong isn't a person, he's a territory, an asset to be annexed through fees and interest rates. Every time Kong swipes his credit card for something he can't afford, he's basically inviting Uncle Don to set up a military base in his future. High-interest debt is the hard way. It's a hostile takeover of your income before you even earn it. Kong's rare earths aren't buried in the ground, they're your data, your attention, and your time, and the tech giants are already mining them. Just like Greenland, Kong is caught between two superpowers, the platforms that want his time and the banks that want his money. They wrap it in shiny packaging and call it convenience, but Kong is starting to realize it's just a strategic blockade. If you don't build your own defenses, you end up like Denmark, offended, ignored, and eventually out of options. Kong's first line of defense? Reading the fine print, even if the letters are smaller than a gnat's eyelash. He's learning to say no to the limited time offer trap, because that's how they colonize your paycheck for the next 72 months. Banks love lifestyle creep. It's like global warming for your expenses. It melts your savings before you can build a solid foundation. The world isn't divided by borders anymore, it's divided by ledgers. Are you in the red or are you in the black? Greenland has 60,000 monkeys, Kong has one, and that one monkey needs to decide who owns his time. Inflation is the silent invader. It's like a ghost ship that docks in your port and quietly steals 10% of your bananas every year. To fight it, he needs his own personal NATO, an emergency fund that acts as a shield against the unexpected. Without it, he's just an open territory waiting for a hostile takeover. The billionaire gorillas are playing for keeps. They don't want your friendship, they want your surrender. Kong is tired of being the bargaining ship. He's starting to become the house. Because in the jungle of finance, the house always wins, unless you own the house. The hard way is ignoring the math. The easy way is realizing the math is your only ally. Uncle Don is doubling down on incentives. 100,000 bananas per monkey is a lot of fruit, but free bananas usually come with a very long leash. It's economic pressure disguised as a gift. In the financial jungle, if you can't see the price tag, you are the price tag. The Arctic is the new frontier, but Kong's new frontier is his compound interest. He's realizing that time is more valuable resource than rare earth metals. While the superpowers fight over shipping lanes, Kong is focusing on his own cash flow. He doesn't need to control the Northwest Passage if he controls his own spending. Don claims Russian and Chinese ships are everywhere. Kong thinks it's funny how people see enemies everywhere when they're trying to justify a spending spree. Denmark's monkey is standing firm. Not for sale is a powerful sentence. Kong is practicing saying it to every limited time offer that hits his inbox. Because your financial sovereignty is like Greenland's ice. Once it's gone for good. You can't just buy back your freedom once the banks have annexed it. Uncle Don is ready to use the hard way. For Kong, the hard way was learning that 20% interest is basically a legal way to rob a gorilla. NATO is watching the infighting. Kong is watching his own budget. Both are realizing that the biggest threats usually come from the inside the house. In the end, Greenland belongs to the Greenlanders, and your future belongs to you, unless you sell it out for a 100,000 banana bribe today. European leaders are in shock. They thought the jungle had rules. Kong thought the bank had his best interests at heart. Both were adorable in their naivety. Denmark is coordinating with allies. Kong is coordinating with his spreadsheets. In a world of predators, you need a tribe that actually backs you up. Uncle Don isn't backing down. He's doubling down. He claims Russian ships are all over the waters, despite the lack of, evidence. To Kong, this looks a lot like when he tells himself he needs a new 80-inch TV to stay informed about the economy. It's a narrative built to justify a purchase. Whether it's an island or a home theater, the logic is always a little shaky. Greenlanders say they want to be left alone. Kong wants to be left alone too, especially from the debt collectors calling at 8 a.m. But the most powerful military in the world doesn't care about alone. They care about strategic positioning. Your peace of mind is the first territory that gets occupied when you lose control of your finances.
Kong is realizing that if you don't own your debt owns your Greenland. He's done being a bargaining chip. He's going to start treating his bank account like a fortress. The pushback is mounting. The EU is standing with Denmark. Kong is standing with his emergency fund. Average monkeys are protesting. They're realizing that today it's an icy island, but tomorrow it could be their pension fund. Attacking an ally undoes years of goodwill. Kong is learning that credit score is just goodwill with numbers attached. If you burn your bridges with the bank, you're left on a very small, very cold island, alone. Lawmakers are trying to rein in Uncle Don. Kong is trying to rein in his 3 a.m. online shopping habits. Both are failing, but they're trying. The Arctic gold rush isn't over, but Kong has decided he's not going to be the one doing the digging for someone else's profit. He's going to be the one who owns the shovel factory, or at least the one who doesn't owe the bank for the shovel. In the end, this is satire, but the math of a trillion banana trade route is very, very real. Kong is going to stay safe, he's going to stay smart, and he's going to keep his ice exactly where it belongs, in his drink. Because the only thing harder than surviving the Arctic is surviving the interest on a loan for a place you'll never visit. The Arctic is melting, and the old rules of the jungle are being rewritten in real time. Whether it's Uncle Don eyeing Greenland or a bank eyeing your savings, the game is always the same: asset acquisition. If you don't have a strategy to protect your territory, someone with a bigger checkbook will eventually annex it. Sovereignty isn't just for countries, it's for your time, your focus, and your net worth. Uncle Don wants control, Panda wants a monopoly, and the market just wants you to stay in debt. Debt is the Arctic winter of your life. It freezes your ability to move, to grow, or to say no to a bad deal. When you sign that high-interest contract, you're basically letting a foreign power set up a military base in your future. Kong is done being a bargaining chip. He's starting to build his own infrastructure, one saved banana at a time. True freedom is having enough rare earths in your emergency fund to survive a hostile takeover from your landlord or your boss. So, what's your Greenland? What part of your life is currently up for auction to the highest bidder? Don't answer the politicians, answer the math. Math is the only language that doesn't lie in the jungle. Don't be the monkey who wakes up to find his home is sold. Be the monkey who owns the auction house. In this Arctic gold rush, most people are just digging their own financial graves. Kong is building a bridge. Stay sharp, stay skeptical, and never ever sign anything in a blizzard. Because when the ice melts, you want to be the one on the boat, not the one under the water. This has been the Arctic crisis, and why it's actually a mirror for your own wallet. If you found value in these lessons, consider becoming a member of the Banana Republic. Your support keeps the heating on in Kong's icy bunker and keeps the data coming. Remember, we're just talking about monkeys here. Any resemblance to real billionaires is purely accidental and very funny. For legal reasons, this entire video is satire. Kong is a fictional ape, and his financial advice is technically guerrilla science. Don't take financial advice from a monkey that doesn't wear shoes. It's just common sense. Stay independent, stay sovereign, and stay far away from easy banana loans. The world is a jungle, but it's your jungle. Don't let them fence it off. Thanks for watching. If you're still here, you're officially a high-ranking member of the troop. Don't forget to like this video because the algorithm needs its banana tribute too. Subscribe and hit the bell. Or don't, Kong isn't your boss, he's just your financial spirit animal. Final thought, Greenland didn't sell out. Neither should you. Stay safe, stay smart, and keep your assets on ice. In a good way. I'm the narrator. This was the Arctic lesson. Goodbye.